town's Inchmerry Road ground has always seemed ramshackle, existing in a perpetual state of acceptable decay. Ground staff along with a small army of volunteers maintaining it just the right side of characterful with little to no money or any other tangible resource. It is a minor miracle performed the length and breadth of the country around the lower leagues of the football pyramid. A dizzying display of structural plate spinning on creaking stadiums well into the second century of service, they are a labour of love, handed down from one generation to the next. Walls are bolstered, failing floorboards replaced, broken seats nailed, glued, taped back into use. Pitches mown, reseeded, advertising hoardings erected. Turnstiles are oiled until they purr with that unmistakable clack of Victorian engineering, a siren song, an adrenaline rush, calling more toward their field of dreams. No matter how many volunteers, there is always one more task than able body. I remember so much of that first visit, the first day of the new season. Rounding the corner into Inchmerry Road, the floodlights hove into view. 4 sporting pillars as spectacular to a young boy as the Colosseum of Rome or the Parthenon of Athens, topping and tailing the hulking body of the main stand, its shadow stretching across the club's gated car park. The distant sounds of music being played over a crackling tannoy. From then on it was assault on the senses as we wove between a tangle of bodies outside the ground. Patrons of the Crown pub opposite, a pub I would go on to drown a great many footballing sorrows in, spilled out into this street, some sitting along the front walls of the terrace houses that stretched either side of the Crown. The smell of onions from a hot dog stand mingled with tobacco smoke and the heady scent of alcohol on their breath. Beyond, and the chatter of the turnstiles catapulting supporters inside grew louder, as did the piped music, and we joined the queue to get into the Inchmerry Road terrace. A line of people, some sporting town scarfs, filed toward their sporting fate. A few smiled and ruffled my hair, looking down at me head to toe in my new kit. A few of them commented, "Good lad, I wish more would support their local team like you." I didn't know them, had never met them before in my life, but in that moment I felt a part of them, of the town. I felt a flush of pride. I hadn't even set a foot inside yet. When it was our turn, Dad paid the man, then nodded for me to go ahead through the turnstile, only being able to enter one at a time. Through the clunking ironwork looking glass, I stood there on my own for a few seconds waiting for Dad to join me, the cool air deep in the bowels of the Inchmerry Road terrace giving a young lad in shirt and shorts the chills, though nothing like those that greeted the first view of the pitch. Up a steep flight of wooden steps, I stood blinking at the top, a shimmering billiard green expanse overlooked either side by the east and west stands, 2-tiered construction sporting simple benches on the lower and rows of flip-down wooden seats on the upper, the snap of occupied spots, flipping back up as old friends stood to greet one another, echoed around the upper levels as if someone had smuggled in a fistful of firecrackers. And down on the pitch, 2 sets of players warmed up, the town 11 sporting tracksuit tops in the club's colours, stretching out limbs, pinging balls across to one another. It was a lower league cacophony of sight and sound. It was overwhelming, supporters weaving around me patiently at the top of the steps as I took it all in. It had, after all, happened to them once upon a time, that first glimpse of what would come to mean so much. The game itself was a bit of a blur, the red and yellow of the town up against the all-blue of Rochdale. The players hurled themselves into the fray. Last-ditch tackles, long raking passes, rasping shots had me fumbling for my programme to put shirt number to name on the team sheet. Heroes in a town shirt were being discovered, their endeavours replicated in the back garden that evening. These lower league journeymen, nobodies outside of town, but to a 10-year-old boy, they became everything. The chants from a group somewhere behind us, the wave of applause at a decent pass, the roar of the crowd at a town goal.